Hey there, www.andrewmarkmusic.com. This is a riff vlog from Beaver Lake outside Kelowna, British Columbia. Kellll. Wonder where that comes from. So yes, into the fire. The van. The lake's over there. So yeah, I wanted to talk about Ripple XRP. Yeah, so you got a bunch of guys sitting in offices because they don't bake bread anymore out on the farm. So they're thinking, they're using their noggin. Call it the noosphere. And what can we think of next? Oh, I know. Let's subdivide the penny. Yes, in the analog world, we had a dot, a 1 to the left side, and a 0. And that was 1 penny. And in the analog world, you couldn't really split it. It wasn't really practical to split it. Maybe there was a half pence at one time, but basically it didn't happen. Yeah, so what they did is they created these digital units. So you're subdividing the right-hand side of it almost to infinity, lots of zeros there. So you could buy these little bits of coinage, that were worth nothing in the beginning. And say you had 100 guys or 100 persons involved in this, and this is arbitrary, I don't know the numbers, but they take $50,000 each and they buy up, a ton of these coins that are worth nothing. And then they get to, once they purchase all of this, they get together and they speculate the price of it. And the price goes up. Now, I don't remember what the price went up to. I think between $3 and $5. And at that point, these people became incredibly wealthy. So yeah, I mean, ingenious. In my opinion, diabolically so. But I'm no fun at a party anymore. Fire? Okay, so yeah, to me, there's they became incredibly wealthy, and yeah, I view it as a form of usury. I define usury as making money from money, creating money out of nothing, using money to make money, all these speculations, packaging debt as an asset and selling it. You're not making a widget, you're just creating money and using money to make money. I consider it usury. Now, I wanted to touch on the metaphysical aspect of this. You have that dot in the middle, and this is loose. I get that. So you have what's called the void, the kanoma, and on the left-hand side of it, materialism and the material universe, and on the right-hand side, you have the bardos. You have the ether. The spiritual realm of the demiurge. So this tripart nature of where we are, the void and the bardos are all a part of this construct that is owned by the demiurge and the archons. I was talking about Mabel Lake in my last video. Mother Elohim. Wonder who she is, eh? Was it Ridley Scott who did Alien? Yes, Elton John. And then it, it goes both ways. You can go forward and backwards because it's right and left, right? It's as above, so below for the demiurge. And L is also Lenin, L-E, and John Lennon, and Marxist Leninist. Allah is reversed is Los Angeles, L.A. You know, these names are everywhere, everywhere. I mean, you drive around British Columbia, and you get the Ka from the Coppolis. It's everywhere. It's Canada. That's where it comes from. These were a certain group of people who claim Christianity, but really weren't Christians in the true sense, because you wouldn't practice usury if you were. And just look at the names everywhere. I mean, they own it. It's bought and paid for. So yeah, that's now what I would say is that the source of all of it is the Pleroma, what traditional people would call heaven. But the Pleroma wasn't responsible for this particular existence. This place came into existence via an accident, and yes, that's a whole nother blog. You can see my website on that. So that's the Gnostic view of this, particularly the Christian Gnostic view of it. And that's why we still take issue with usury and all the problems that it creates. Now, I have said that it wouldn't be a problem if you did one of two things. If you created a base at the bottom of the pyramid where inflation wasn't an issue. So if you think back to the hyperinflation in mid-century in Germany, it wouldn't have been a problem so much if it was only luxury that was inflating and people's basic needs of food and shelter were not inflating. So that's one solution, is to make, and I say this in my 4 Pillars of a New Earth Commons, is to create a new bottom of the pyramid that is more stable as far as being affected by inflation. And the other thing you could do is you could do away with the problem of inflation by putting an alternate. You sort of think of it as an inverse Jubilee. So instead of wiping out debt, you just put like 1 million rewards points in people's account for their basic need, or you airdrop 10,000 Ripple into everybody's account, everyone, and then speculate it, and everybody becomes wealthy as far as their basic needs. And I would define wealth there as 24,000 Canadian. So, you could solve the inflation problems one of two ways, either by calling a real Jubilee or by doing the inverse of a Jubilee and just airdropping money. But you need to do it in a way that doesn't cause hyperinflation. And you'd see my 4 Pillars of the New Earth Commons in that regard. But we'll never get it. This is all demiurgic, and it's all archontic, and we're basically slaves. Yeah, so that's about it. That's www.andrewmartinmusic.com, riffing on XRP Ripple. And I'm up in Beaver Lake, British Columbia. And the weather. I wanted to touch on the weather on March 15th, the Ides of March, payback time. After months and months of crap weather in Vancouver, it turned to summer for 3 weeks. They called it the dancing Israelis of the weather. And by April 10th, it just went to crop again. And just 3 months later, it's been crop. And everybody's saying the same thing here. It's cold up here. So I got my hat on. It's almost July 1st. Usually this place is smoking hot. Now what it's done, it's created a lot of mosquitoes, more than I've ever seen in 40 years. And they don't bother me. And the upside, usually this time of year, you wouldn't be able to have a fire. We got fire. And yeah, so that's cool. You win some, you lose some. And yeah, so weather control, you know, weather manipulation. When is it all gonna end? Who knows? Okay, so we'll leave it at that. www.andrewmartinmusic.com. Peace out.
Crooked miles with faded jeans and faded smiles on a ragged ass road, lonely and cold. It ain't no fun getting old. And it's been my closest friend into hell and back, and once again I'm halfway to nowhere, caught in between this life and the next.